I'm the kind of person who quotes Gandhi. I don't know if you knew that about me.
You're a very sophisticated young man.
I'm in that higher echelon, you might say.
Echelon.
Echelon. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Peace is its own reward." It really speaks to me as a dad.
Yes.
With like
with young kids,
6-year-old and a 3-year-old. I'm like, yeah, peace is a reward.
That is your life. Peace. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I think about this, this thing, we can get into a spiral.
Okay.
We can get to a figure eight where we are constantly running on drained batteries. This happens to me as a parent when sometimes my night explodes. Last night my night exploded and I thought I was going to get sleep and I did not get much sleep. So how do we recharge our batteries? To me, it's actually really important. A lot of people I know are running on the ends of their batteries, and worse, if we don't take control of how we recharge ourselves, we're blown by the wind.
Right.
Maybe I'll have some leisure time. Maybe I won't. I'm just doing what's urgent. And by the end of the day, I'm so worn out that it's just like I'm falling into bed. I might even be buzzed by reading the news on my phone. So I'm both tired and not tired at the same time.
Yeah. One of the challenges we face is that we get so amped up by what we're doing at work or family or just living, right? We're aroused and we're going hard, and then when we finally get a chance to take a break, we just crash. And usually we go into mind-numbing activities because that's just where we can easily float.
This numbing thing, I know for myself, there's a bunch of activities that I thought would be the kind of thing I want to do, and in the moment they're like candy. I feel like I just want to stop doing this and I just want to watch a show, and then I finish watching a show and I feel just as bad as I did before I started watching it.
Oh, and you start getting into addictive behaviors. I feel bad about myself right now because I haven't done a lot of work, and then I see a YouTube video and it's kind of like, oh, but I'll feel good at least for a second by clicking on it. So I click, and watch that thing, and I get that little shot of endomorphine or dopamine. Yeah, just a little shot of dopamine. And for the few seconds, I feel good about myself. Get to the end of it, and then it's like, oh, shoot, that's another 10 minutes gone. Now I feel worse about myself.
Yeah, it's like I feel lonely. I'm going to go on Reddit and look at pictures of cats. Oh, that's a good cat. That's a good cat. I'm so lonely. There's things that don't actually recharge you, that numb you. We do need a break, but that word break is too vague.
Okay.
So there is a huge difference between breaks that recharge and ones that are pure numbing and are distraction.
Right.
That if we go to distraction, we might not necessarily recharge.
Yes.
And we will feel just as bad as when we stopped. In the loop, we just kind of flip right
Gets
back
into
around.
a cycle.
Yeah. First insight is some of the things that we spend our time doing and we think of as being a break don't recharge us, make us feel worse. But there are things that we can do that can recharge us. And if we can figure out what those are for us, we can actually have a little more energy, and not energy by the end of the day because we're going to run a mile at midnight, but just there's an emotional drain. There's something that carries over day to day. There's a happiness factor. We want to be healthy people, and we don't want to be failing and doing badly and crashing. We don't need to crash.
Yep,
we do need a break.
It's an important part of being resilient is that when you are done work, that you're doing something that gives you the chance to recharge emotionally, physically, spiritually, all those aspects of life, right? Yes. So let's get into that, hey? Be intentional about the activities that you do in your off time so that you are literally recharging all of your batteries. And I think too often we just float into our activities and we end up just being drawn in by every squirrel and every distraction and every shiny thing. And, clickbait, it's a real problem right now. And it's so easy to lose 2 hours to YouTube. So easy. And you feel crappy at the end of it, right?
Absolutely. I'll have a break and I'm so go in life that when I take a break, I want that break to matter. And I'll take a break and maybe I'll watch an entire season of Daredevil, for instance.
Okay.
And then
you never would do something like that.
I never would do that. But if I was that kind of a person, I would get in a Netflix loop, do that, and then go, oh my gosh, I lost my whole day. So it's almost like, so tracking with the aftermath of an activity, recharging behaviors make me feel productive. So do I feel productive when I'm done that activity? There are leisurely behaviors where I feel alive and refreshed and productive. I don't feel less productive. I don't feel like I just lost time. When I do something that recharges me, I don't go, I just lost an hour. But when I go on Facebook and an hour passes and I'm like, oh, what happened? So it's an easy question. How do I feel after?
That's a critical piece there, because what you're trying to do, I think, after you do an activity, do a little bit of an analysis on yourself. Did this make me feel stronger, or do I feel weaker right now? Do I feel fuller or drained? And track that over a few days or a few weeks even. Which activities bring life to me?
Because in the moment, I will tell myself, I just want to take a little break and I'm going to play this video game a little bit on my phone. And when I'm done doing that, I feel regretful after. I feel like I lost time. I don't feel stronger. I feel I have less perspective. But then there's some activities that I feel refreshed. I feel like I have more perspective. I don't feel like I lost time.
Right. Now, it's contextual. Like, it depends what you're doing, what your work is.
Gaming can feel like that in some context.
You know what? For me, when I was writing my dissertation, I would take a 20-minute break once in a while and play a first-person shooter video game that was just rock music and going hard, and that was exactly what my brain needed. Right? That was great for me then. But as soon as my dissertation was done, that didn't fit anymore. It wasn't... where I'm going with this, you almost want to do something that is the opposite of what you're spending a lot of time doing. So, for example, if your job calls you to be highly analytical, your leisure will most likely be found in doing something that is more artistic.
Yeah, I know. I did a number of paintings this holiday season.
Really?
For as Christmas gifts. Yeah.
Okay.
And I hadn't done painting in a while, but I noticed that when I did it, when I was finished a little painting session, I would feel completely recharged. I felt like I had a lot of mental space. I felt less anxious. I felt like I had greater perspective. The act of doing it was so different from what I was normally doing with work. Had less decision making or whatever. It just was this unique space. And afterwards, I just took some time to reflect on what I just did, because I think about this recharge versus distraction thing a lot, and trying to capture. I have like a list going, because in my craziness, I'll think, I have this big deadline looming. I just need a quick break, and I go on Facebook or I play a game, and I feel horrible afterwards. But no matter how bad I feel, like some weird loop, I will feel like the next time I want a break, I think, I want to play a game again.
Yeah.
And so
because you get the dopamine shot.
Yeah.
Right.
So I look at the list and I go, no, this is not going to recharge you. Step away from the phone. Step away, Tony.
Right.
You know how this feels.
Yeah. There's something about arts. When you do some sort of artistic activity, painting, music, anything like that, it has a way of putting you back in your body. So especially if the kind of work you do is very cognitive, especially if you're thinking future or past or that kind of stuff, something that puts you in the now is very powerful. So mindfulness techniques, that's what you're actually doing. But you can do activities that put you there. One example for this is fishing. Like, it looks like you're not doing anything, but if you're really fishing well, you're paying really close attention to the end of the rod. And you're really focused on the now, right?
So it gets you present.
You're very present. Yeah, it's a form of meditation, right? And there's lots of other activities like that. But again, what you're looking for is that this activity makes you feel stronger, not weaker. And so often I'm bad for this. I'm tired, and I'll choose an activity that after an hour of it, I'm just exhausted. And that was lame. It's not recharging.
So you want it to be... So most likely it's going to be something different than your normal mode. So if your work is really intellectual, analytical, something where you're not being analytical, like painting, might recharge you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you paint all day for your work, playing Sudoku, maybe doing crosswords or getting really mental will recharge you. If you're a cook all day, maybe you just want to read spy novels and
but
sometimes that context shift is just a matter of content. Like I might be busy reading a business book or something, and that's work, and then I'll switch to narrative, or history, and I'll
to
feel
fiction
like,
or something.
Oh, it's nice, and I feel recharged from the same activity.
Yeah. But again, the rubric is, how do I feel after doing this? And then track yourself over the next week or so and see which activities do the most for your batteries. So really, you're trying to bring balance to your activities in such a way that you are maintaining a healthy mental state.
And that's, I mean, it's one of those things that I need to do very intentionally, because I'm so much more of a batcher.
Well, and
I don't know if it's from doing farm work as a kid, where it's just like you just have a bunch of stuff to get done, don't come back until it's done.
Okay.
And so I don't like stopping things in the middle.
Well, the one problem now is in modern life, most of our work is done with a screen in front of us and a mouse or something like that. And all around the edges are all these little clickbait things screaming, click here, I'll make you feel wonderful. Right? And it's just this constant.
And sometimes we're in the middle of something hard to do on the computer and we think, oh, maybe I will just click that. I'm just going to look at my email for a moment as a distraction. But the distraction does not always recharge.
Yeah.
Email is not very recharging so far. Okay, so recharging is needed, because otherwise we can spin out, we can spiral, we can crash badly. There can be negative consequences besides just daily it's like having a battery that doesn't recharge all the way every day.
Yeah.
But if we can leverage our activities, the leisures we take, we're going to take a break. It's either going to be a waste of a break where you feel like you regret being on Facebook for the last 10 minutes or looking at the news again and getting a rage attack, or it's going to be recharging and we'll be able to feel a bit more engaged. Heck, sometimes the best thing I can do is I don't know what to do, so I just sit there, and then it's like, I can't just sit here, can I? And then even just a couple of seconds is like I realize just all the stuff that's going on inside my brain, and I get slightly more in touch with the present. And just that one step forward into the present is like relieving and helpful when you live so much in your head. This is helpful. I'm going to have to take a break now.
Yeah, I'm kind of done doing this. Let's go. I wonder what's on Netflix right now.
I wonder what my Facebook is like.